Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday, and it is September 15th. We have a meeting to tell you about today. It will be the third board meeting, which is where they're going to finalize their budget and approve it today. That'll be at 9:30 or immediately following this day. So stay tuned for that. And to follow along, you can go to lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. And if you wanted to email them, you could certainly do that while the meeting is happening. You would email your questions to meeting@vmsinc.org, and you can phone your questions into 949-268-2020. On our show today, we have Laguna Woods Reformed Temple that's going to tell you about an event that's coming up and also a couple of things that they have virtually. And then we also have Diane Dixon, candidate for the 74th District, and she will be telling us all about her and what her plans are if she is to win that spot. Now, let's go ahead and jump to our weather. We have some warm weather today. It is still a little hazy. So we're looking at today of 89-66, tomorrow 88-65, Thursday 87-70, Friday 87-66, and then Saturday 83-67, so that'll be pleasant. Then our air quality today, thank you Doug Rook for letting us know that we could share that with everybody. It will be a bit unhealthy today, so be careful when you're out and about walking around, and this is something you all can go check out. It's called Air Now, and every day they update it every hour for you, so take a look at that. Our sunrise and sunset, the sunrise today is going to, or was 6:35 in the morning, and then our sunset will be at 6:56, so it's getting earlier and earlier. Our photo today was sent in by Lori Malawa. Thank you so much for sending that in. And you can email us a beautiful photo at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. When we return, we will have the Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods. Stay tuned.
Cups, plates, burgers, chips, masks, outdoor air, 6 feet of distance, as few people as possible, and plenty of hand soap. Make sure lowering the risk of spreading COVID-19 is on your list for your next small gathering.
Do your part to lower the risk.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Laguna Woods Reformed Temple, and I have Muriel Ash, Beverly Genero, and Rabbi Joe. Well, welcome all three of you. Thank you for joining me.
Lisa, we're glad to be here today.
So we have some high holy days coming up, and so we wanted to get with you guys and just sort of understand some of the things that you are going to be doing virtually and potentially, on site or however you're going to be doing this. But before we get started, Muriel, tell me a little bit about some things that have been happening that, isn't such great news, unfortunately.
No, our high, as you said, our high holy days, the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, are only days away. We've had to make some adjustments since our dear Rabbi Kamen had a very serious heart attack. We wish him plenty of needed rest and, of course, a complete recovery. Rabbi Raina Gebertz, associate rabbi at Temple Bat Yam in Irvine, has in Laguna, I'll get it right, in north of us,
Beach.
has graciously agreed to substitute for him for our holiday services. And we thank the Newport Beach Temple Bat Yam for giving her that time. And she will substitute for all our holiday services. We are so grateful and do look forward to beautiful services on Zoom. Everything will be Zoomed.
Okay.
All members of the Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods will receive the Zoom link for all services. And if others wish to join us for the services, Just send a check for $75 to Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods, Post Office Box 2833, Laguna Hills, California, and that can be applied to a full year membership for those who live in the village. So we do want everybody to be able to join us.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to add one item. We have joined with Chabad to arrange for catered holiday meals, particularly the one holiday dinner to be available for pickup. And we call Lita Pickman for that at 949-586-4795 or email her lpickman@comline.com. They're $30 a piece. And it's always nice to have a wonderful holiday meal to celebrate the holiday.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And, you know, our best wishes to Rabbi Kamen. Is it Kamen?
Yeah, Cayman.
Kamen. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Do you have an update?
Yes, he is in recovery. He's getting better. It's a long process, and our prayers are with him.
Okay, well, thank you for that information. And Beverly, what are some of the High Holy Days activities that are going to be coming up?
Well, the holidays, I think Muriel pretty well covered it. We'll be having Rosh Hashanah beginning on September 18th. Everyone is welcome to participate. We're looking forward to the holidays, even though it's a little sad this year. And we're also, while the rabbi's recuperating, continuing with our Friday night services. And those are being lay services led by leaders of our congregation and including many members of our congregation and our choir and our music director, Juanita Sue, and our cantorial soloist, Jennifer Lewis. And we have a lot of education programs that are continuing at this time. We've got a new book club that's going to be formed beginning Wednesday, September 30th at 10:30 in the morning. It's for members only. We also have Cal Levin is presenting a program called The Joy of Yiddish. And that's an 8-week program beginning October 15th at 11 a.m. We will have something called Cooking with Rochelle. And she's going to be cooking and talking about holiday foods. And that's coming up September 14th at 7 p.m. So please contact our education committee for the information on joining us in those Zoom activities. And also we've got a wonderful fundraiser coming November 15th. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we'll have further information later on that. It'll be in November, so we'll probably be talking more about it in October. Then really and truly, I know living in Orange County, we don't always think of people. I mean, it's wonderful here, but we don't always think that there are people here who are very, very hungry. People here who are food deprived and sometimes homeless. And our Orange County Saddleback outreach food pantry is in desperate need of food. So we are going to have our Yom Kippur food drive early this year. It's going to be on September 20th from 1:15 to 2:30 behind the community center. That we're going to have 20 barrels from South County Outreach and people there to help you take them out of your trunk and drop them in the barrels. We'll have 20 barrels there. We're hoping that we can make a difference. Like I say, they are in really desperate need for non-perishable foods. So please come, please join us in this food drive. Everybody is welcome to do that in the community.
Yeah,
And
I would imagine that through COVID-19, they have been giving away an awful lot of food. So I'm sure that they do need to replenish.
If you're like me and can't go out, send a check to Bobby Rosenfeld, made out to the South County Outreach, and put in the notes that it's for the food pantry. And that will help tremendously as well. We appreciate that. Or they can drop the checks off when they drop the food off.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And
that's great.
there's in conjunction with that, we have another activity that Rabbi Joe is going to talk about, and that's the chauffeur blowing. Rabbi Joe?
This whole thing about having the food drive started when we decided that blowing the shofar is one of those things that just doesn't come out on Zoom. hearing that sound of the shofar, which has so many biblical references and so much meaning for all of us, we have heard it. I just need to hear it live. So working with Laguna Woods, we came up with using the parking lot of our community center because the clubhouse parking lots were not available at this time. We set up the barrels to be behind the building. We'll direct the people to drop off their food and then park in front of the building, and the shofar will be blown at 2 o'clock. And if we're lucky enough to have the parking lot so full that people can't fit, we'll have a second area right next to us, and we'll park you there, and then we'll blow again at 2:30.
Okay.
So this way we can take advantage not only of hearing the shofar, but also helping the hunt.
And give me a brief meaning as to why you blow the shofar.
The shofar has so many meanings, but probably the most meaningful is that when we received the commandments at Mount Sinai, we heard cold shofar, the sound of the shofar, as though it's representing God's voice. So when we hear this shofar, and this is a little long for the camera, when we hear it live, it reminds us that God is with us. And right now, during COVID-19 and all the challenges we face, it's important to just get that feeling, not just the knowledge, but the feeling that God's with us and is going to give us the strength and be with us as we get through this challenge and all the other challenges in the coming year.
Right. Well, that's very nice. And I am so happy that you guys are able to put something together that everybody could participate and still have your distancing and do the things that you need to do. So that's awesome. Well, thank you all. Yes, go ahead.
By the way, I do want to remind everybody, this is for anyone who's interested in hearing the shofar. You don't have to be a member of any group. You don't even have to be Jewish. If you want to hear the shofar, come. If you can bring food and donate, even better.
And remind us of the date of this again.
This is the second day of Rosh Hashanah, Sunday, September 20th.
September 20th.
The food drive starts at about 1:15, 1:30. Give us a chance to set up. And then you drop your food off, park in the spaces we provide, keeping an empty space between each car, because we do want to respect the needs of social distancing. And then we'll blow the shofar at 2, and then again at 2:30 if necessary.
Great. And Beverly, did you have something else you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that our Friday night services are open to anyone who would like to attend. So all they have to do is contact Robin Lipton and give them her email, and she will send them the access link. We welcome everybody.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. Good luck with all of the activities you guys have planned, and have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you.
Really nice to be with you again.
All right. We'll talk to you guys again soon. And we'll be right back after this.
It was just a get-together with friends. No big deal. Everybody felt fine. Now, I'm super sick. Everyone is sick. I just wish we had been more careful. It would have been easier than this. So wear a mask. Do what you can outside. Stay 6 feet apart. Because some things you just can't take back.
Do your part to lower the risk.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Diane Dixon, who is a candidate for Assemblywoman of the 74th District. Well, Diane, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Lisa, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. I'm honored.
Well, it's such an interesting, time right now, as you know, people are running for different offices, and well, we don't know you, so I'm hoping that you're able to give us a little background about yourself.
I'm delighted to. First of all, I love Laguna Woods. In the primary, I walked many of the neighborhoods, and I hadn't been to the village. the Woods Village community for many years, and it was just a pleasure to meet the wonderful people and walk the streets and just admire just the beautiful community that it is. So I'm delighted to learn more about Laguna Woods. I've done a little bit of homework prior to our talk today, so I have a sense of what's on the minds of many people. During the primary, there was a forum. I did a primary forum down in Laguna Woods in one of the community centers. So I just have a real good feeling of the people in Laguna Woods, and I look forward to getting to know them better and understanding what their needs are.
So tell me, what have you been doing up to this point?
In my life. You want the long version or the short version?
The short version, because we want to get to the question.
All right. I worked in business for a Fortune 300 company for 30 years. I more or less retired from that, but I wasn't done yet. And my husband and I had bought a home in Newport Beach, and I always had done government relations for companies. And so, or from the company I work for. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring, and I ran unopposed in my first race in 2014. I was mayor during that first 4-year term. I ran for re-election in 2018, and I was mayor in 2019. So I've been in public office for 6 years, serving on our cities and as chair of our finance committee. So I know a lot about city finances, city operations. And what occurred to me in November of 2018 when the seat flipped, and I began to see as a local official, as a local city council official, our city staff giving the city council all these new modifications, amendments to our municipal code. I'm saying, what's driving this? What's going on? Well, something had happened in Sacramento where there were one party who is now super dominating legislative policy making and lawmaking, and it was affecting local government, local control. So historically, as a charter city, as a general law city, cities councils make policy for their cities. That literally has changed overnight in the last 2 years with a super majority of one party. We have one party making policies, not for the whole state, for cities. And as a city council person, I'm saying, how can this be happening? So I said, someone's got to speak up for the cities and the people who represent these cities who do not know. If I were just an average citizen, I would not know the gravity of the power that's shifted now to Sacramento. You wouldn't know on an everyday basis, but I'll tell you a little bit more as we go forward. And so I said, who's running? And I love my job on the city. It's not a job, my volunteer role as a council person in Newport Beach. And I said, who's going to run? No one's going to run. Well, I will run. I have been elected twice by 30,000 people. 30,000 people have cast their vote for Diane Dixon. I believe in fiscal responsibility, public safety. We're in a COVID. That's probably the #1 issue. And business, I am pro-business. I'm pro-local control, and some issues that may not relate to Laguna Woods, but education is really on the front burner issues that people care a lot about. Young families care because curriculum is being designed and passed as policy in Sacramento. It's a real big issue. Criminal law, public safety. I've been married 45 years to my husband, who's a career prosecutor. In Los Angeles, in charge of major crimes, and then down here in Orange County, works as special counsel to Todd Spitzer, and our daughter is a prosecutor. So public safety, safe communities is obviously a really important priority, and that affects all of our communities. And I hear that all around this district. Crime is a problem. So I decided someone had to do it, and I am running because I believe that the current representative in the legislature does not fully represent the needs of this district, and I'm happy to explain that as we go forward.
Thank you. You're right. It is very important that we have safety in our communities, and so when we talk about that, there's an awful lot of things that are going on currently. But before we go into that, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the propositions that are happening right now. So for instance, let's take a look at, protecting the taxpayers. What opposing Prop 15 and 19, tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, it is so important, and thank you for bringing it up. People, and particularly your listeners, this is so important to all of your listeners who have been paying a property tax under the current property tax system since Prop 13 was enacted in 1978, that froze property tax assessments and to increase at 1% a year. Proposition 15 on the November ballot would do away with the protections that businesses and residents ultimately pay for. But how it will affect, well, right now, Prop 15 says we'll split the tax roll. So there's commercial business tax roll and residential tax roll. Right now, they're combined. What will happen to small business? And people will say, well, I don't own a small business. How will that affect me? Every small business, restaurant, shoe store, beauty salon, real estate office, any company, and it's usually small business who are tenants in a commercial property area, will see their property tax bill that they pay to their landlord, who has just received a gigantic, enormous property tax increase. That landlord has to pass that additional cost to their tenants. We will see massive business foreclosures. So we've got, just going through this COVID, we want to get businesses, as you said earlier, my economic recovery plan, we need to get our this is small business. This is mom and pop. We need to get them back operating. And with Prop 15, it would wipe it out. It is tragic. And so how it also affects residents, so their cost of goods, their consumer good prices would have to go up for those businesses to pay their property taxes that have escalated one big jump from 1978 to 2020. It is an enormous financial impact, but also because of the supermajority in the legislature, where one party can do whatever it wants, just you wait. In a couple of years, they'll go after changing the whole baseline on residential. Mark my words, if Proposition 15 passes, because the legislature has the power to tweak anything that passes at state. So we are on a slippery slope.
Right. So not only 15, but also 19. So you're asking the voters, or letting them know that they should be voting no on 15 and 19?
Yes. Proposition 19 is kind of complicated, but basically it would prohibit the transfer of property from a parent to an heir. And you could transfer it, but you will, the value, the property tax value would go to current market rates. And that would be devastating to the heir that inherits that property. And it does have one good thing. So it will be confusing, I'm sure, in the media and the advertising about it, because it allows, if you move from one county to another, from Orange County to San Diego County, you can maintain that property tax base from that home. That's a good thing, because portability does exist in some counties. This would make that statewide. But the transfer tax is prohibitive. It's enormous. It would be devastating to families. And so I recommend vote no on 19.
Okay. And then real quickly, let's talk about the repealing of AB 5.
I'm happy to. When I get to Sacramento, I will vote to repeal. I'll introduce the bill. It is a nightmare law. I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with how the legislature, again, through a supermajority, and incidentally, the incumbent assemblywoman voted yes on AB 5 all the way through the process. So how does it affect everybody who live in Laguna Woods? Well, your hairdresser, your healthcare worker, your gym owner, your gym trainer, all of these people are being forced to work for a larger company. And it really is a union organizing drive. Now, I'm not against unions. It's just that people should have the right to work. California is a right to work state, and to force people in order to earn their livelihood as a gym trainer, as a healthcare worker, as a manicurist, that they have to work for another company. I mean, California is was a state of innovation, and people, that's where the gig worker, the Uber driver and the Lyft driver and everybody else from families, mothers, fathers who want to work part-time to have home care for elder care, for childcare. It wipes out independent work. I mean, what are they thinking of? And the legislator in San Diego, who is still an advocate, a fierce advocate for this kind of control, is a former Teamsters official. I mean, so this is all about union organizing. So they go in to force everybody to work for a company, and then go into the company and organize. I'm strongly opposed. It is and it's national embarrassment to California to pass such a law. And the horrible thing is that some congressional representatives in California have introduced the same, Harley Ruda has introduced the same bill in Congress. It is devastating. It's a century backwards. And the independence that we all enjoy and depend on, and the benefits of that fulfillment of, you can be an Uber driver, or you can do whatever you want and fill up your day and work 40 hours, work 20 hours, work 80 hours. I know Uber drivers who work long hours. So it just isn't right in a free country to force people to have to work for a company. It's just on that basic simple, it shouldn't be. So yes, I will introduce a bill or vote to repeal it. Absolutely.
Okay. And then just last statement real quick.
Just a pleasure to talk with you, Lisa, and to talk with your viewers and the important residents of Laguna Woods. I know you've been all quarantined for 4 or 5 months. I know you all want to get to your gyms, and you're so healthy minded, and you want to get out and exercise. Believe me, if I am elected, we will get this state back in working order and get our businesses up and running. And we'll do it safely. Absolutely. I want you to be safe. I promise I won't put any kind of COVID health facility in the middle of your community. I will protect you. I will be responsive to your needs, have an office down in Laguna Woods to really serve you, because senior needs are really, really important. So basically why I'm running, we can't have a one party decide all of our public policy. It's not democracy. And if it were the other way around, I would say the same thing. One party, you don't get debate, you don't get the tug and pull of making good policy. And this is bad for our state. There's a long list: public safety, loosening criminal justice laws. We need a Republican in this office to best represent business, families, education. There's no choice in education. They want to get rid of charter schools for those people who have grandchildren or children who are in charter schools. They want to get rid of charter schools. I'm pro-business. Let's get this state moving again. And I'd be proud to represent the people of Laguna Woods. So thank you. And thank you, Lisa, for the time. I love it. I'll do it anytime.
All right. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back after this.
Thank you for watching. That's all we have time for today. So make sure you stay tuned for the upcoming third meeting. Bye-bye.
Tip, toss, take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.